Brace yourselves as we are about to grasp the context and meaning of Tao-te, recognize Lao Tzu as its author, the ideologies he believed in. Seize the core of mastering the art of balance on a self-awareness journey. Live in harmony with nature, delve into the way of virtue. This is Archaias Historias, Understanding Tao-te, hosted by Ms. Ryza Bautista.
Good day, everyone. At this moment, we are going to talk about a common yet hot topics. Do you want to guess what these topics are? But before we start, here are the objectives of our discussion. First, we must recognize the author of Tao-te, the ideology he believes, and understand the context and meaning of the text itself. We must realize and analyze Lao Tzu's attitude towards people and action, and comprehend his ideas and concerns about government and individual happiness. We also need to recognize the master's characteristics based on the selection presented and appreciate his scheme of modernization in terms of government. Finally, we must appreciate how he conceived the world we live in and compare or contrast it in today's circumstances. Well, you already have the clue, guys. Yes, we will analyze government and individual happiness based on ancient Chinese texts written by materialist philosopher Lao Tzu, called Tao-te. Tao-te is translated as the way of virtue, or the classic of the way and the virtue. Okay, for our trivia time, remember these three nouns: Lao Tzu, Taoism, and Tao-te. They are connected with each other. Actually, Lao Tzu is the founder of Taoism, and the text Tao-te is based on Taoism. So, what do we mean by based here? This means that the ideas of the text are in line with the beliefs and ideologies of Taoism. This is also the reason Tao-te is the main book of Taoism. I know you have a big question mark, guys, right now. Let's clear that out by knowing Taoism and their belief first. Taoism is a Chinese religion and philosophy that instruct believers on how to exist in harmony with nature. Taoism has three main principles. 1. Inaction. 2. Simplicity. And 3. Living in harmony with nature. Living in harmony with nature. That is the meaning of Tao. More specifically, the word Tao means the way it is, the way of nature, or the way of ultimate reality. Let's put it in a simple word. From Lao Tzu's perspective, harmony can be obtained if human beings follow the natural way or just go with the flow of nature. Since according to their belief, too much action or too much intervention may produce catastrophe. There, we can see his attitude towards action. He is not a fan of the saying, action speaks louder than words. Therefore, is he a fan of words then? Let's see. Going back, if we analyze and comprehend the idea of being in harmony with Tao, it means allow things to happen just the way they are and achieve harmony in an effortless action. However, Is Tao belief still applicable if it's about leadership and government? To explain Lao-Tzu's perspective about this subject, just keep watching and we will be right back. Welcome to Archaeos Historias. Again, to explain Lao-Tzu's perspective about leadership and government in Tao beliefs, I invited 5 students from pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila. Let's welcome Amira Ashana Guerrero, Macalintal, Sherlette Soriano, Dominic Dosal, and Renz Gacho. Let's give them a round of applause. Hello guys, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, Ryza.
Hi.
Hello po. Guys, I will not hang around and just be direct to the point. Is it okay with you?
Of course, we'd love that. Let's be direct.
Okay, the selection we are going to talk about is not the full text or poem, right?
Yes, it is just a compilation of stanzas that talk about leadership, government, and individual happiness. However, the happiness of the people according to the selection relies on what the ruler can provide. So, they are still interconnected.
So, what must the ruler provide the people with if they are to be happy? Is it wealth or food?
Good morning, everyone. I'm sure that to answer the questions, it's not material or worldly things. According to Lao Tzu, happiness of people comes in a natural way when they are content with what they have and rejoice in the way things are. Lao Tzu counsels people to make their desires negligible, to minimize their personal interest, to limit and diminish the self, and to return the self to a state of primitive contentment. Additionally, according to him, in order for people to find happiness, the ruler must stop insisting that they find happiness and stop imposing an absurd amount of laws and regulations. All of these are like an oppressor and burden to the people and might in turn create new crime. They are just man-made concepts that hide their natural expression.
This means that the government must not provide worldly things to the people, as it does not guarantee their happiness. It's like, just let them be and they will become happy. Well, it was the total opposite of today's generation, since people are more than happy when the government gives attention, things, and foods to them. However, there are still some people that are unhappy with this since they prefer money. It was their kind of happiness, and it's understandable since they prefer money because they give ample amount of tax to our government. And maybe another reason is that they are picking at everything the politicians corrupted. In my observation, people today are angry when the government ignores them and when they don't see action. Does Lao Tzu's idea of government accept such kind of treatment from people?
Well, according to Lao Tzu, the government must still perform its duty even when in non-action, so that treatment is not applicable. In verse 66, Lao Tzu describes, all streams flow to the sea, which pointed out that the government must take a position underneath its people to ensure people's happiness. Government must be below the people and must learn to follow them. This will provide the people a sense of trust towards their government, as they know that their government trusts them in deciding what is best for them and what's right for them.
That was accurate. A true leader is a servant of its people. Leaders or rulers who were placed to the position should not act superior and not intervene more than necessary. Rulers must remember that people tend to break free from something suffocating. When leaders know how to act and not to act, people feel secure, content, and happy. But How long does happiness last? And to what extent does Lao Tzu concern himself with individual happiness?
Good day, everyone. My name is Anne, and to answer that question, well, Lao Tzu is concerned with the happiness of individuals for the duration of their lives. One must learn to live with simplicity, patience, and compassion in order to obtain personal satisfaction, according to Lao Tzu's discussion. He also stated that these three things are a person's greatest treasure because if one accepts simplicity in life, he or she returns to their origin. And when you have tolerance with both enemies and allies, you accept the situation as it is. And finally, compassion reconciles all the world's issues. And as long as you possess these three essentials, a ruler or those in authority cannot force you to be happy. Lao Tzu constantly reminds us throughout the text to be at the center of the circle, which is the Tao. Everything will work out if individuals remain in the Tao center. Just like as seen on the text, if the government tries too hard to control the situation, I believe it will lose the people's trust and with it, their happiness. Even though Lao Tzu does not discuss happiness, he does imply that a lack of government power and personal acceptance of the Tao could be a path to happiness.
Therefore, the inaction of the government or ruler and simplicity, patience, and compassion within leads to happiness. So, what is a government and its function? What is a ruler for?
Well, it was clear in the selection that Lao Tzu is not a fan of action. And to answer your question a while ago, if he is a fan of words, the answer is still no. In chapter 3, he said, practice not doing and everything will fall into place. And chapter 38, the master does nothing. According to him, the main function of government is inaction, and therefore the role of a ruler is to remind people to follow Tao and to make sure they have freedom. And they can achieve freedom if the government and ruler does not possess great power and impose law. Additionally, just to clear this out, his inaction and does nothing are not literal. This means that a good government or ruler has the patience to refrain from acting before knowing exactly what to do, and then to do as little as possible. Because for him, small solutions are usually the safest and the most efficient, while big solutions cause new problems of equal size. And additionally, he said in chapter 17, when the master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. This is the best ruler for Lao Tzu since he preferred action discreetly performed so that it passed unnoticed, and therefore no words at all were needed.
Well, I know some politicians that are fans of words during campaign period, but not fan of action during the term. If you will ask me if they are Taoist, no, they are not. And if you will ask me if their inaction makes people happy, a big no, rather they made the people angry. And based on experience and observation, I agree that simplicity and compassion can make individuals happy, since I saw this during the previous campaign period and election here in our country. Filipinos are happy with their compassion and care with each other. In addition, they are happy that they saw hope in someone that is willing to take words into action and that has a great attitude towards the people. And speaking of that, what is Lao Tzu's attitudes towards the people?
First, I would like to thank you for inviting me here. It is such a pleasure. Going back to the question, I believe it can be answered subjectively. Many adjectives can be used to describe the attitude Lao Tzu portrays in this masterpiece. But personally, I think Lao Tzu shows empathetic, respectful, and liberal attitude toward the people, although in a pragmatic manner. Lao Tzu recognizes the differences of people. He believes that different kinds of people respond to the Tao in various ways. And that is what he wants the master to see in his constituents. He wants the master to be sensitive to what people have to say and be compassionate to them, as he thinks that too much government authority is damaging to society. And if a government is too aggressive and controls everything, there is a chance that people would revolt and become difficult to manage. Lao Tzu also exemplifies liberalism. He believes that everyone has the right to express their own personal views without interference from those in positions of authority. He thinks that the master should not force things to stay as it is. but rather let the change flow freely and accept the constant change and differences of people. This explains why the book is still relevant and applicable to the state of our society today. However, despite our differences and beyond imaginative desires, Lao Tzu still encourages us to live simply and practically. The main point of the book is to remind not just the master, but the people as a whole to live in harmony with nature, as there are so many things we cannot and should not control. And in doing so, we can find peace and contentment within ourselves.
Very well said. I agree with the idea of Lao Tzu about the aggressiveness of those in authority. Truly, too much authority could make people revolt on their own and thus damage the society. We have history to prove that. On the other hand, it's outstanding to know that Lao Tzu has a great respect for the personal views of the people. At least, he's not a dictator, right? Honestly, this is the kind of leader I want for the Philippines. I want someone who is willing to listen to people's complaints, comments, and suggestions. Someone who is not cruel, rather compassionate enough to understand the circumstances of the people.
From my personal point of view, I believe we once had a chance. A chance to experience a life being in a country with good governance. A chance to witness the nation's economical and societal growth, where it was evident. A chance for our people to be heard from expressing their grievances. Unfortunately, like what Lao Tzu said, there are things we have no control of, including the choices and decisions of others. All we could do is to make a good influence for the improvement and betterment of the country. And hopefully someday, that influence will grow and the citizens' welfare will prevail.
Truly, the one that got away. Going back, something came up when you said improve and better. I got curious. Does following Tao and people's in action can improve the world?
Actually, Lao Tzu said that the world cannot be improved.
That's the opposite idea of today's generation, since our generation aims to improve it as we are hopeful for a more peaceful and productive society. Though the difference is understandable considering the distinct context Lao Tzu and our generation lives in. But viewers, what do you think are Lao Tzu's reasons? Prepare yourself as we are about to understand Lao Tzu's thoughts on why the world cannot be improved on the return of Archaeus Historias.